Welcome to the No Sugarcoating Podcast. I am Amber Romaniuk, emotional eating, digestive, and hormone expert. I am also the founder of amberapproved.ca. I support professional women achieve optimal health through mindful eating, self-care, and overcoming self-sabotage with food. This podcast provides the honest truth on what you really need to create body freedom. The No Sugarcoating Podcast provides information on healthy living, lifestyle changes, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. Always seek the advice of your healthcare practitioner regarding your health and nutrition program. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 324 of the No Sugarcoating Podcast. I cannot believe it's already episode 324. Like, where is the time gone? Anyways, welcome. I'm so grateful that you're here from wherever you are in the world, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. And I'm really excited to share today's podcast. We're really going to be diving into how hormones fuel emotional eating behaviors, because there are so many connections between these two things: blood sugar, Candida, and craving connection to emotional eating, and then steps to take to address hormone imbalances. So I'm going to dive into that today. And I have a few key show notes to share, including a program that can help to support you if you suspect you have hormone imbalances and you're really ready to address them. So if you're wanting to hear about the program, do not rush through the show notes, because I'm going to be sharing all the details about my new program that is launching. And I'm doing an early bird here on the podcast because I love you guys and I love sharing things with you first. So I'm going to be talking about that right away. And then if you don't want to hear about it, you can always just fast forward through. But I feel like most people that listen probably suspect they have hormone imbalances and may want support with this. So you can check out all of the show notes on amberapproved.ca /podcast/324. And I have a big program announcement, and I'm so excited. I was going to wait to launch this, but my body and my intuition are you need to do it now. So I'm listening and I'm not waiting. So I am so freaking excited to launch a new online 5-month group program called Hormone Harmony. Hormone Harmony I'm just so excited about it because it is going to support you with your hormone health and so many other things. So if you have been wondering if you have hormone imbalances, maybe you've had tests done, you're being told everything's normal, there's nothing wrong with you, it's just your age, you just have to accept what's going on, you can't get the answers that you are seeking with your hormone issues, and you've been desiring to find a way to work with me, but maybe you're not ready for one-on-one, or maybe this is just a better financial investment for you to make, whether it's weight loss struggles, skin breakouts, horrible bloating, gut issues, hair loss, fatigue, brain fog, low sex drive, troubles getting pregnant, irregular cycles, menopause symptoms, and more. This is what this program is going to be all about. So what are really the details of this program? Well, we are going to start with, after you purchase the program, you will get connected to me, and we will book a 45-minute private session. So you get one coaching session with me for 45 minutes, and you get one round of complimentary hormone testing, which is included in the purchase of the program. And so essentially the way that it will work is, once you are signed up, you'll get an email, and we will ask for your date of birth, your address, and phone number for the testing, just so I can go ahead and set that up. And then it will get sent to you. So depending on your location, if you're in the States, aside from a couple of states, you would get a requisition emailed to you. Otherwise, you'll get a kit actually sent to you in the mail. And depending on your location, Canada, Europe, it's a bit different for different places, but we just set up the testing. It gets mailed to you. Once it gets mailed to you, you'll have instructions of how to do the test and when to do the test. And then the results get emailed to me. And then you and I get to connect for that 45-minute session together, one-on-one, to have an assessment, to go over the hormone results. And then I can make the specific recommendations based off of the specific unique hormone imbalances that you have from the testing: supplements, foods, teas, spices, self-care, lifestyle stuff. And so then that way you can get that insight. And even if you have testing you've already had done and you want to bring it to that call and we want to do a comparison, I'm happy to do that also. So then from there, we open up the actual start of Hormone Harmony on Wednesday, February 16th. And we will have a monthly live session, and there will be a theme to each session because I want to really teach you about your hormones and what's going on and why you have the hormone imbalances that you do. So whilst I can give you some good insight in the 45-minute session, the 5 months is going to help you integrate and make the changes because there's a lot of mindset, people-pleasing, stress, proving, overgiving, perfection that fuels hormone imbalances, a fear of slowing down, a fear of having balance, I can't make time for myself, but all of this just keeps amplifying the hormone imbalances that are going on. So I'm going to be doing month 1, hormones 101. So learning about your hormones and why they're out of whack and how that can impact your gut health, your mood, your frequency, like all kinds of different things that are connected in the body. Month 2 is all about building habits to balance hormones. So looking at your relationship with food, looking at mindful eating, self-care, overbooked schedules, body image issues. This can fuel hormone imbalances because if you're feeling insecure in your body and then you're feeling like I have to restrict or I have to diet or I have to do exercise, that could be messing up your hormones. So we're going to work on emotional eating triggers and mindset, relationship with food, relationship with body, and your schedule, because that's very important for us to start working through because that's having an impact on your hormones. Month 3 is overcoming self-sabotaging behaviors. So we're going to further support your system, whether it's emotional eating, reducing alcohol consumption, if you feel like you cope with that, making sure your exercise routine is in alignment for where you're currently at, mindset, negative self-talk, the ego we're going to work on because all of that, again, can fuel hormone imbalances. Month 4 is going to be gut health, inflammation, and hormones and how our gut health is linked to hormones and vice versa. Month 5 is going to be all about calming the nervous system. So you get the 1 live session each month where I'm going to be going into these key topics. And then the following week, there is another live Q&A that we get to do and connect together for. And so you get to come and ask your questions and receive coaching in the live Q&A. The other juicy part of this program is that I'm opening up a Voxer, which is a voice and text app for all the women who enroll in this program to join. And you get access to me Monday through Friday in the Voxer to ask questions, to receive coaching from me. That is a huge opportunity to have that kind of level of support because only my private clients get that, who are coming into new programs now. So this is very, very, very powerful program. And I've been like birthing it for months and it just feels like the divine time going into February to drop it. So if you are really wanting to identify your hormone imbalances, you're wanting to actually get answers rather than being told everything's normal and there's nothing wrong with you, and you really want to see a shift not only in your body, but your mindset and the way you connect to yourself. This also helps you tap deeper into your intuition when your physical symptoms are resolved, then this is definitely a program for you. So I want to share the pricing and the early bird savings because there's some special things that you get if you do enroll early. So from now until the 31st, if you decide that you want to enroll in Hormone Harmony, you get an extra early bird bonus. So the early bird savings for the program up until February 6th is that the program paid in full is $1,555. And that's the one first option to pay in full. And then to convert that to Canadian dollars. So it's just under 2,000 plus tax. So it comes to like 1945, depending on where the dollar is when you're listening to this. But that's just let you know, it's just under 2,000 plus tax. And then I have a payment plan option to split the payment in half. So you can do $888 USD to put down to enroll. And then the second amount, which is the same amount, is due 4 weeks, 28 days later, which is about 1111 Canadian. So that's the early bird pricing because the program regularly is 2,222 USD, which is roughly about 2,800 Canadian. So this is such a good savings. You're pretty much saving like 800 Canadian. It's about 667 USD. So essentially the early bird price is $1,555 paid in full or 2 payments of $888. Not only do you get the early bird savings, if you enroll by January 31st, your extra early bird bonus is you get complimentary access to Freedom from Emotional Eating, which is a $600 value that you get complimentary. And as soon as you sign up, we'd send you a code and you can dive into that program and you get lifetime access to that. You also get Freedom from Emotional Eating, the replay, as an early bird bonus if you sign up by February 6th. But if you want the freedom from emotional eating, you'll want to do it by Jan 31st. So it's like $333 value there too. So it's like $1,000 in programs that you get plus the savings with this. So essentially, to cap it up, the early bird investment available until Feb 6th is $1,555 USD paid in full, which is a $666 savings, or you can do the 2 payments of $888. And you get the food prep magic and freedom from emotional eating if you enroll by the 31st. If you enroll by the 6th, you still get food prep magic replay, but you won't get freedom from emotional eating. So that's the difference there. And then of course you get the 1 round of testing, the 1 private session for 45 minutes, the 90-week group session, and then the 60-minute Q&A, and access to the Voxer. And one other bonus that I'm so excited about, because I do this with my private clients, is we're going to do a live 1-hour mind map session together. So in the mind map, we're going to come on live. And of course, if you can't make the live sessions, you'll be able to access the recordings and have lifetime access to the program. But we're going to dissect your negative thoughts, your limiting beliefs, and how you want to feel in your body. What kind of identity do you want to have with food? How do you want your health? What kind of energy levels do you want? How do you want your digestion to feel? Mindset, body image, confidence. So we're going to get to map that out together. And it is so powerful, the empowering thoughts and beliefs that come up when we really take time to think about how we want to feel, because we oftentimes don't think about how we want to feel. We keep focusing on what we don't want, and then things don't change. So I wanted to just go through that. Thank you for bearing with me. I wanted to take time to explain the program because there's a lot of really great things in it. So if you are interested in enrolling in this program, I'm only opening up 10 spots for this program. So once they're gone, that's it. And the next round likely won't be until next February. So if you want to do this, you are so welcome to email me at info@amberapproved.ca with the subject line Hormone Harmony, and I'm happy to send you the link. I'm also happy to connect with you and answer any questions you have via email. There's also an FAQ on the sales page, and the link will be in the show notes at amberapproved.ca/podcast/324. There will be a banner, and you'll click that link and it'll take you to the sales page, and it'll have everything to the detail. I'm just not going to read the whole sales page because I want to be mindful of time, but I'm happy to also send you the link to sign up in an email. And if you are really wanting to connect for like 10 or 15 minutes to talk about this, I'm happy to book a 10 to 15 minute call. Like I said, 10 spots will be available. And once they are gone, they're gone. The early bird is until Feb 6th. So if you want to take advantage of the early bird and get all the juicy bonuses and make sure you're in for this program and the support that's going to be such a high level, do not miss out. Come and join us as soon as you are ready to. And of course, you can pay with your major credit cards are available. If you don't have a major credit card, email me and I can set up a PayPal link for you and we can take care of it like that. So I'm so excited about this program. I just couldn't wait any longer. And I'm so excited to see who comes and joins. I've had so many women in the last year really email me about like skin issues and cycles and menopause and weight and thyroid stuff and hair loss and eyebrow thinning and all these symptoms. And I wanted to make a program where I could really focus on this, but bring in all the root elements that are causing the hormone imbalances. So Hormone Harmony is ready to go. The link will be in the show notes, amberapproved.ca/podcast/324. You can email me at info@amberapproved.ca for the link. And you can also DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to have a voice chat with you there and help get you all set up for the program. So I'm so excited. We start February 16th. Everything will be recorded. If you can't come to the live sessions, you'll be able to watch them as many times as you like. So I think that's everything that I wanted to say. Without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. And thank you again for your patience. I want to just make sure I explain the program a little bit so that you guys know what is available. Amber Approved offers private coaching for ambitious women to help with hormone imbalances, weight loss, digestive issues, emotional eating, and more. If you are ready to dive deep into the root issues of what is causing your challenges, contact info@amberapproved.ca to inquire about how we can work together. Or you can go to amberapproved.ca and click Apply to Work Together and book your 30-minute body freedom session. I look forward to supporting you to food and body freedom. So let's dive in. How hormones fuel emotional eating behaviors. So what a lot of people don't realize, just because we lack education on this, because we're not taught, is that hormone imbalances can fuel emotional eating behaviors. And we think, well, if I just have willpower, if I just eat more mindfully, if I just mindfully eat, then maybe I won't be so triggered to emotionally eat. But what we're not taught is the key underlying physical symptoms and emotional imbalances and also energetic imbalances that fuel emotional eating behaviors. And that's one of the reasons why in Hormone Harmony, I've integrated parts where we look at relationship with food, mindset, emotional eating triggers, body image, and the ego, because these are all key parts that are directly fueling your hormone imbalances. You just may not realize it yet, but I'm going to teach you that in the program. So within this, we want to look at, we're really taught to prioritize our physical healing first. We're really taught to do this. Okay, you have a stomachache, you go get a test done, you get on some supplements or medication, and then it should improve. But the problem is with this is if you are struggling with emotional eating and you say and it's okay, everyone's going to navigate their journey the best way they see fit. But I've talked to enough women and seen enough clients go get testing, get on supplements, and things don't get better. And that's because the root issues are not being addressed. So say you feel like you're fatigued and you're having more PMS symptoms, or you're bloated and you're having digestive issues, you're having more cravings. So say you go and get some hormone test done, or you go get some gut test done or food sensitivity tests, and they come back, it shows you have leaky gut, it shows you have adrenal fatigue, and then the person you're seeing gives you a meal plan, or they give you supplements, or whatever recommendations to support it. But the problem is they don't know that you're struggling with emotional eating. They don't know your schedule is so overbooked and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you're not taking time for yourself to calm your nervous system down. They don't know you're a full-blown people pleaser and you're not taking any time for yourself. They don't know you're not sleeping well and you're mindlessly scrolling on your phone. They don't know that you're struggling with really deep insecurities and unworthiness. And maybe they do, but maybe they can't support you with it. And maybe they know and they are supporting you with it. And if that's the case, that's freaking amazing. But I'm just speaking on behalf of most of the women that come to me that this is not the case. And so then what ends up happening is you get upset because you got the test done. You can see some of the imbalances going on. You're trying to do the meal plan. You're trying to do the elimination diet. You're trying to take the supplements, but the bloating isn't going away. The energy isn't improving. Your cycle isn't getting better. And you're like, what the heck is going on? And it gets really frustrating. And that's why it's actually, to me, so important that we address the mindset and the behavior with food, which aids in the healing of the hormones, the gut health, the nervous system, the immune system, the lymphatic system, because we can take all the vitamins in the world. We can eat as clean as we want until the cows come home. We can exercise as much as we want. However, if we don't address emotional eating, binging and purging, if we don't deal with the people pleasing and the overbooked schedule that is causing your nervous system to go crazy, it's hard for your gut to fully heal. It's hard for the bloating to go away. It's hard for your bowels to get really regular. It's hard for the hormones to regulate. I'm not going to say it's impossible because I'm open to miracles, but from my experience in working with, a good 1,100 women now, it just doesn't work. And then you get upset because you spent all this money on supplements and testing and you still don't feel like you're any further ahead. So I wanted to start with that because I think it's so important that we really take more seriously and look at the emotional aspect of the journey that we are avoiding because it's scary, it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar, we're afraid of failure, and we're afraid to face ourselves. It's so important we look at that. And I know if you're listening to this podcast, you are wanting to, or you're starting to face yourself, and you're wanting to deal with your ego, and you're wanting to identify the negative thoughts and limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck in these cycles and blocking you from healing on such a deep level that you could create the food and body freedom, the business freedom, the happiness, the deeper relationship with yourself and connection with others, whatever it is that you're desiring in your life. So when we prioritize physical healing over emotional healing, it can take way longer to physically heal because the emotional healing is fueling the physical imbalance, or the emotional imbalances are fueling the physical imbalances. We heal emotionally, we heal physically, because the nervous system, when it's out of whack, it impacts everything. And if you're emotionally eating, that's a huge stressor on your body, on your gut, on your mind. It lowers your frequency. It impacts your ability to connect with your intuition. When you're people pleasing all the time, it's hard to tap into your intuition and access your gifts. We're more frazzled, scattered energy, and then we're more triggered to emotionally eat. But then you're upset because you're bloated and you're tired, but you're not addressing those. So it's so important to look at this, and how this all ties back to how hormones fuel emotional eating behaviors is if you are people pleasing, if you're overcommitted and you have an overbooked schedule, if you're into perfection, you're needing to prove everyone wrong, you're proving that you're a great person because you're chasing your worth and rather than going within to build it. You're afraid to face yourself and your emotions. So you're booking your schedule to distract yourself because you do not want to look at yourself and what, insecurities or emotions you've been suppressing and shoving down. You're not ready to face the negative self-talk and step out of it because you're in this comfort zone, this familiarity, right? You're hanging on to grudges and not letting them go. You're mindlessly scrolling technology. You're comparing yourself to others. Well, what this does is this emotional stress overwhelms the nervous system. And the more overwhelmed the nervous system gets, the higher our cortisol gets. And that's that stress hormone. And you hear me talk about that all the time. And by the way, that is one of the tests that I see tested the least when my clients ask for blood work. And all the testing will be in Hormone Harmony. We're going to be testing everything, all your sex hormones, your stress hormones, all of it, because we need to have all the answers in order to really have a full picture. So just rest assured that that's all part of the program. But what happens is our nervous system gets overwhelmed. And the longer our nervous system is overwhelmed and not dealt with, then it starts to impact our blood sugar, which I'm going to talk about. It impacts our gut health. It impacts our energy levels, our brain fog, our sex drive, our cycle, our fertility. It impacts the way you go through menopause. It impacts your mood. It impacts your energy frequency. It impacts your intuition. It impacts your vibration. And you may be attracting a lot of scattery, chaotic things into your life because you're going all the time and you don't know how to stop because your ego's convinced you that there's no other way. And then we don't make the best decisions to support our greatest good because we're making decisions out of a place of fight or flight rather than being grounded, which allows us to critically think and have a more open mind. So when we're overwhelmed all the time, it's hard to have an open mind and be like, I can open up time for self-care, because you're like, when you're overwhelmed, you can't critically think. You're like, I just don't have time for self-care. That's ridiculous. Like, I can't do that. But it's because you're in such a frazzled, chaotic state. So this is why I record this podcast to remind you that you can always shift that. That's why I offer the private coaching, why I'm doing the Hormone Harmony, because I want you to know that anything's possible, but we've got to get out of fight or flight. We've got to get out of that stress response so that you can critically think and have a more open mind to that there's always ways to take care of yourself and improve your health and well-being on all levels. So when we have these hormone imbalances and the cortisol goes out of whack, we end up in this place where our appetite levels get more wonky. We may not have as clear of a signal of what it feels like to feel full and what it feels like to feel hungry, or maybe you don't have a hunger signal. And if that's the case, we got to look at your thyroid, and we're definitely going to be doing that in the group program there. And I do that with my private clients. I do testing with all of my clients. It's very, very important. So if you've been debating reaching out for private coaching, I encourage you to do it. If you're debating coming and doing this program, come and join us. It will change your life, truly. And I'm not just saying that. I'm so grateful that I get to witness all these incredible women every day transform on such deep levels, like the self-love, the power, the energy levels, improvement in digestion, the freedom from emotional eating. They're starting businesses. They're growing businesses. They're advancing in careers. They're starting families. Their relationships are improving. It's so powerful what happens when we do this deeper work. Anyways, getting a little off topic, but the cortisol really governs all the other hormones. And when it's out of whack, throws our appetite levels off. And then you may end up overeating more easily, which becomes an emotional eating behavior. Maybe you're not clear on what hunger feels like. And so you don't eat and you skip breakfast and you skip meals. And then by the end of the day, you're full blown binging and overeating because you are like, well, I wasn't hungry earlier. How come I'm so hungry now? And that's because there's a lack of, clarity and signal with the hunger hormones. And then that can innocently fuel emotional eating. And that's tied to your hormones. When we have high cortisol, we can crave certain foods, which I'm going to talk more about right away. Hormone imbalances mess up our sleep cycle. And then the more tired we are, well, that's a huge emotional eating trigger. So we can start to see how hormone imbalances fuel emotional eating behaviors because we're out of touch with our body. We're probably overbooked. We're not paying attention to our needs. We're not giving enough to ourselves. We're probably not getting enough sleep, not getting enough time off of technology. We're not grounded. And then we have a less of a stress threshold and we freak out and panic and react and project. And you snap on your spouse or your family more easily or your coworkers. And then there's more conflict and that just stresses you out more. And that all triggers emotional emotional eating. And the more out of whack your hormones are, the more emotional and the more moody you might be. You might have more anxiety, and that can fuel emotional eating because you want to suppress the anxiety. You may feel depressed, or I don't even like that word because it just feels so permanent. You may have a really low mood, and then that triggers you to want to emotionally eat because it gives you a dopamine hit for a short period of time before your mood drops back down. All this is tied to hormones. So that's why I can't stress enough that we have to address the emotional stress. We have to address the overwhelmed nervous system from an emotional standpoint by looking at and overcoming things like people pleasing, overcommitting and overbooking your schedules, chasing your worth and putting validation and giving your power away to others, kicking perfectionism to the curb and finding a balance, overcoming negative self-talk, letting go of grudges, having healthy boundaries with technology, and catching comparison and shifting it, because it honestly fuels hormone imbalances, which then fuel the cycle of emotional eating. And then emotional eating upsets you, and that throws your hormones more out of whack and throws your blood sugar and your hunger levels more out of whack. And that fuels more emotional eating. But if you're not looking at all these pieces and you're just only looking at physical healing, which it's okay if you are, there's nothing bad or wrong with the way you decide to navigate your journey. I can't emphasize that enough. You got to trust yourself and what feels right. However, I'm speaking out for those of you who know there's like a whole under the ocean iceberg to address, but it feels uncomfortable. You keep dancing around. You're like, oh, maybe I just need to do another test. Maybe I just need another vitamin. Maybe I just need to try a different diet. And it's like, I love you. But honestly, if you've been struggling and in this vicious cycle and on this hamster wheel for years and decades, that's probably not going to work. It's probably not working for you. So what is it going to take for you to put the invisible brick wall aside and step into addressing the unworthiness, addressing the insecurities, and really facing your ego? Because that's what's going to help you heal your physical body on a deeper level when you can calm your nervous system down, when you can overcome emotional eating and learn healthy ways to cope with your emotions, when you can open up and start carving out time to take care of yourself, not just to sleep or to wash your face, but to calm your nervous system, to explore your emotions, to feel your feelings, to build an energy hygiene routine, to connect with your intuition, to talk to your body, to have gratitude, to connect with your inner child. Like, it's so powerful what happens, but we've got to be willing to stop dancing around the obvious, which is that the mental, emotional mindset work paired with the physical. And then that leads into like the energetic and spiritual healing as well. But this is a huge piece that's missed because it's uncomfortable. I don't have time. I've got to get myself together first. And it's like, no, the whole point of investing in support is to have that person help get you together, because usually the reason we're not doing it is because we don't have accountability and support, and we don't keep our word to ourselves. So I encourage you that if you have all these reasons, stories, and excuses why you're not reaching out, why you're not booking a body freedom call, why you're not investing in a small program, if it's because of the money, if you're not coming to the free masterclasses and you're not joining the Facebook group and coming and engaging in the live Facebooks that I've been doing, like, there's so much opportunity here. The only thing in the way is your ego. And I encourage you to get it out of the way so that you can experience such a deep level of healing and have like the most incredible quality of life. Yes, even with all the stuff going on out in the world, you can have an incredible quality of life right now. We create our reality, as I always talk about. And it's so important that we just look at it with a different lens. And that's just what I'm inviting you to do here, is to look at your journey through a different lens. And it's not that you have to come work with me. You pick whoever feels resonant for you. But you know me, I love to lovingly call out the stuff, and I love to light the fire under people's butts because I want to see people heal. I did a journal last week, and I'm going to share a little bit of this with you because I spent some time to like really think about my why. Like, why do I have my business? Why do I support my clients? Like, why do I record this podcast? And what it really came down to, and it brought me to tears because I'm so grateful, is I literally volunteered to come to Earth and be here right now and assist with a deep level of healing on this planet. To hold tender hearts and hands that feel fragile and vulnerable and weak and hopeless because they can't get out of these vicious cycles of emotional eating and diets and weight gain and hormone imbalances and gut issues, and your physical health doesn't feel good and your emotions don't feel good and your confidence is taking a hit, but you feel like you have to stay in the rat race to just keep people happy. Like, my soul signed up for this experience to heal it and to help other women. And this is my mission. This is why I'm here on this planet, to help show you that there's a lot of light available if you're willing to do your deeper work. And there's so much beauty on the other side of that, of the fear and whatever else you're worried about. But that's why I came here. to heal and to help assist others in healing, in reconnecting with your intuition, reconnecting with your body, having a deep level of attunement, feeling so much love and gratitude for your body, for your soul, for your experience, why you're here. And then that has a ripple impact. And then you're shining your light out on the world and you never know what might unfold. I have clients who are on beautiful healing journeys and they want to start businesses and help people. It's so freaking amazing. Like, let's do it. The more people who heal and that can aid in humanity and the healing that is happening and is going to continue to happen. Like, we need a lot of healers here. And everyone's got a different method, which is beautiful because everyone wants something a little bit different. But that's why I'm here. And that's why I do this podcast. And if I was just wishy-washy, it wouldn't light the fire under your butt and you wouldn't reach out and you wouldn't get the support to help you heal. And you'd be sitting there regretting not doing it. So I love you. And you know that I love to light the fire under the butt. And it always comes from love. So that was the journal. And this is my mission. And I'm so grateful to be here every week recording this podcast. And I love when women who listen email me or join the Facebook group and share that that's where they found me, or you reach out for private coaching or to join a program or like just to say hi on Instagram. Like, I freaking love it. I'm so grateful. So anytime you just want to say hello, please do so. I would love to hear from you and where you're from and what you're taking away from the podcast. So if you're dancing around doing the deeper emotional work because you think it's just as simple as doing some tests and taking some vitamins, you've heard me say this before, you're probably just going to end up with really expensive pee. Because if your nervous system is going crazy and overwhelmed and you don't address your nervous system and deal with the emotional eating, you have really bad leaky gut and you're not going to absorb the nutrients and the vitamins or your food. And it's not going to help you as much. And then you pee it all out. Talk about this all the time, right? So yes, we can do testing and take vitamins and the emotional work. Ideally, we do it together because it works well together. And until you deal with the mindset and the emotional and the destructive behaviors of restriction and binge eating and emotional eating, like, not a lot changes. It just doesn't. And then you end up frustrated and then you think nothing's going to work when you're not looking at this whole avenue behind your shoulder of emotions and mindset and deeper connection with your body and your soul and why you're here. That's huge. So a journal thing that if this is resonating for you, and if you're getting triggered, this is a good thing. This means that we're hitting a chord and there's something here for you to look at. So a couple of questions to journal on. If you are on a healing journey, but you're not getting the results that you want, but you're only looking to physical healing, what are you avoiding? Why are you avoiding it? Why are you avoiding dealing with your emotions? Why are you avoiding, the people pleasing? Why are you avoiding setting boundaries? Why are you avoiding saying no? Why are you avoiding not looking at your overbooked schedule and looking at why am I continuing to do this? What are you not facing or addressing? Why are you not looking at the emotional eating? Why are you not addressing or allowing yourself to feel your emotions? Explore that. Like, pause the podcast or take some time in your self-care routine and journal. See what comes up. If you want to email me or DM me on Instagram and tell me what comes up, I'd love to hear. We can have a conversation. But it's so important for you to really be real and honest with yourself, because it's easy to go get a test and it's easy to take a vitamin. It's not as easy to dig in and get uncomfortable and deal with people pleasing, to set boundaries, to face your emotions, to really look at what's triggering you to emotionally eat, to stop the diets and the weigh-ins and the quick fixes and really mend the relationship with your body. Those things take more time. They take more effort, more emotional expenditure, and you do have to get uncomfortable. However, when you do it slowly and gently, it doesn't have to be so scary and uncomfortable. It's actually very liberating and empowering. And there's always a deep gratitude when people look back at it. So food for thought. And maybe you're addressing the emotional while you're dealing with the physical and you're like playing into the energetic and the spiritual. And you're like, I feel so aligned with my journey. Amazing. And I also know a lot of you have egos, as we all do, and then that can block you. So I wanted to just really, really go into that piece. The No Sugarcoating Podcast is proud to partner with BiOptimizers and their amazing Magnesium breakthrough. If you want to be healthier, one of the best things, of course, that you can possibly do, which I talk about all the time, is making sure you're getting your 8 hours of sleep every night. Now, there may be different reasons why you are not able to get your 8 hours a night. It is really important because your body regulates and balances while you sleep. And if you aren't getting enough quality sleep, you can increase your risk of more fatigue, brain fog, and even suppress your immune system. You may even make it harder for your body to let go of that protection that you're wanting to shed. So getting enough magnesium helps with high quality sleep. Believe it or not, around 75% of people don't get enough magnesium, which helps to explain why so many people have sleep problems. However, I don't suggest running to the store and buying the first magnesium supplement you find because most have cheap synthetic forms. And since they're not full spectrum, they won't fix your magnesium deficiency or help you to sleep better. There are actually 7 unique forms of magnesium, and you must get all of them to help with the calming, sleep-enhancing effects. That's why I love and recommend Magnesium Breakthrough by BiOptimizers, and also use it myself and have noticed even a bigger improvement in my sleep. Just take 2 capsules before you go to sleep, and you'll be amazed by how much better you sleep, how much more rested you feel when you wake up. For an exclusive offer for my listeners, you can go to www.magbreakthrough.com/no sugarcoating and use code all caps no sugarcoating 10 during checkout to save 10%. You can click through the link in my bio, and again, that's www.magbreakthrough.com/no sugarcoating. So let's go into the next part, which is blood sugar, Candida, and the craving connection. So when we have high cortisol or really low cortisol, doesn't matter, when it's out of whack. And by the way, a huge thing that a lot of my clients or women that come to work with me tell me is like, I've had the blood work done and my doctor says everything is normal. This person's saying all of it's normal. Let me tell you, I can't stress enough, the normal range on the blood work is way too big, and they keep making it bigger. And all of my clients, well, not all, a lot of my clients who've had thyroid issues and cortisol issues and progesterone issues, etc., B12, vitamin D, C-reactive protein, homocysteine, like all of these things, there's only a small range of what's actually normal. Like the thyroid, it's like a 1.5 point ratio, but the range is like 0.5 to 4.5, or I think they're changing it to 5. Like it's too big. When I had underactive thyroid, I was at a 2.63 and my hair was falling out. My eyebrows were thinning. I was so tired. I didn't feel like myself and I could not lose weight. It didn't matter what I did. And it was 2.63. That is not out of the normal range. And intuitively, I felt like something was off. And luckily, at the time, the place that I worked at, the only doctor I've ever met who's super holistically minded as well, encouraged me that it was definitely, off and that the range was too big. And I started learning about all this before I, did my own healing and learning and educating and helping my clients. But then I got support and I worked on my hormones. I worked on my thyroid because I was over the emotional eating. I worked on the inflammation in the gut, and it healed a lot more efficiently. And then my body shifted, right? But if I was, if you're going to doctors and they're going, it's fine, it's normal, it's not that, it's in your head, or you're aging. I had another doctor tell me, once you get over 25, your metabolism drops and you just, your body, you're going to just lose or gain weight easily. And by 30, 35, yep, totally. What a line. What BS. Sorry, not sorry. It's such BS to plant those limiting thoughts and beliefs into our minds. The body puts on protection because she doesn't feel safe, not because you're aging. Age is just a number. Don't let your health be defined by your age or your weight or anything for that matter. I think it's one of the most disempowering things that any kind of healthcare practitioner, person of influence, can say. As you age, your health is going to decline, because then you're literally planting these seeds into the subconscious mind and your cells are listening to that. So if you've been doing that, I encourage you to shift it and go age has nothing to do with my health. I have the power to heal every day. Age has nothing to do with my weight. I need to understand and figure out why my body doesn't feel safe and why she's hanging on to protection. I have had 70-plus-year-old clients fully heal their hormones, overcome emotional eating, learn how to love themselves, heal their gut, etc. Age has nothing to do with it. I've worked with 21-year-olds to 75-year-olds. Age has nothing to do with it. It is the mindset. We are so powerful. Our mind is so powerful. I talk about this all the time. And as you can hear in my voice, I'm so passionate about it because it's true. And I've seen the power of healing available when we get out of our own way and we reprogram the mind and we change our habits and we change the way we take care of ourselves. And it is absolutely profound. So rest assured, if you have been told that everything looks fine, I would really love to challenge that, because I've yet to have a client bring me their blood work that's quote unquote fine and not spot imbalances. And I share this this with passion because I want to advocate for you and champion for you. And I want to help you figure out what's going on because I'm sure you're tired of hearing everything's fine, but you're not feeling fine. So great opportunity to reach out and explore private coaching or Hormone Harmony because we will address it and get you the answers. And that honestly is so relieving. Like when I do go through blood work with clients and they're like, oh my gosh, please tell me there's something there because like if there's not, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is off. I see this, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, honestly, I feel relieved. They're like, I feel so grateful that I did this because I knew something was off. And that's your intuition. Your intuition does not lie. Your intuition was forged out of love. And if you're like, something feels off, you have to trust that and let it lead you to get the answers that you deserve to get because you deserve to know what's going on in your body, 100%. And that's why I've designed my programs and this one this way, because I want you to feel empowered and to have the answers and then be able to be informed and educated and take the steps, but also be supported. And 5 months is a great amount of time to see massive change and balance and healing happen. So it's super exciting. So good. So when we have this cortisol imbalance, it throws our blood sugar off and our blood sugar levels spike and drop in bigger peaks and valleys. And this, as I've been saying, can increase and decrease our appetite levels. It can increase our cravings for sugar, specifically carbs, breads, pastas, baked goods, as well as salt. And so then if you have more cravings, this is a hormone-based trigger that's fueling emotional eating. And when I had really high cortisol, I was craving sugar all the time and salt. And so I'd buy sweet and salty food and I would lose control. And part of it was I was unclear of my appetite levels because my blood sugar was so irregular. And if I didn't eat like every few hours and have snacks between, like I literally would be so easy for me to lose control with food. My energy levels would drop so quickly and my mood would get, I get hangry. So that's why it's so important for us to look at the cortisol and support it and bring it back to balance. And so blood sugar fuels emotional eating, and that comes from stress and high cortisol. Candida, which is unhealthy bacteria in the large intestine, which we get from taking antibiotics, alcohol, sugar consumption, stress, high estrogen, heavy metals. There's a lot of things that feed Candida. But it's not about doing a restrictive Candida cleanse to fix it. I don't do any kind of restriction with my clients when we're addressing Candida. It's about taking a balanced approach, and they all can balance it. And for the odd person that we do it, and then we need to dig into something else like heavy metals or test hormones again, or see, okay, well, why is this not fully settling out? And then we dig and find the answers and address it. So there's always something else that your body's leading you to if you haven't yet found the answer. But essentially what happens is the unhealthy gut flora really impacts blood sugar, really impacts appetite levels. The unhealthy gut bacteria wants you to crave sugar and carbs because that's its food source. I used to have the most insane sugar cravings when I was struggling with binge eating because I had the worst Candida like that. And like, this was like the place I was working at. Worst Candida the lady had seen in the 12 years of her practice. And I'm not surprised because I ate a ton of sugar growing up. I'd had to take a ton of antibiotics because of UTIs. And then I was binge eating sugar all the time. So then this was not only throwing my blood sugar off, giving me more cravings for sugar, but when we have Candida, it throws our hormones off. It boosts up our cortisol because Candida is like an unhealthy bacteria and it's stressing your body out 24/7. It lowers your immunity. You get more inflamed and puffy. It can contribute to weight gain more easily. It can make your thyroid go more underactive more easily. So all of this is so connected. And then you're craving more sugar, and then you're potentially emotionally eating and giving into more sugar. And then your body gets more stressed out. Your thyroid goes more out of whack. Your leaky gut gets worse, or your food sensitivities go through the roof. You're more bloated, more discomfort, more brain fog. Everything is so connected. And then when you end up with more hormone imbalances, you likely have more cravings. I know a lot of my clients who have underactive thyroid crave a lot of salt, but they don't want like sea salt. They want like salty processed packaged foods. And then the more of that you eat, the more inflammation you have, the more it suppresses your thyroid. And the more suppressed your thyroid is, the more it shuts off your hunger hormone. And then you don't know what it feels like to be hungry. And then you don't eat because you think, well, I don't need to eat because I'm not hungry, when that isn't the case. It's that we need to eat regularly to get our hunger hormone firing again. And that actually helps your thyroid and your metabolism balance out. We're not taught these things. So these are some common imbalances that I see and how it impacts the blood sugar, how the Candida impacts our hormones, and how it fuels cravings. And all of this is tied to emotional eating and can fuel emotional eating triggers. But how are you supposed to learn this if you, like, I didn't know this until I went through it. I had all these triggers and I didn't know until I started looking at, yes, the physical imbalances that I had were fueling emotional eating triggers. However, if I would, there was times where I just focused on trying to physically heal my body, like try to balance my Candida, and I was put on the most restrictive diet and these insane antifungals, and I turned yellow and I got so sick. And because I was restricting so much and I had the worst die-off, like it triggered me to binge. So what I learned was, the physical healing, it's not time for that yet because I need to address my overbooked schedule, my insane exercise routine, my binge eating, and my unworthiness. I need to deal with that first. And as I start to gain traction with that, and I'm feeling more confident, I have more balance, I'm sleeping better, I'm not emotionally eating, then I will go in and I will work more on my hormones and my gut health because I will have better results. I will see changes. So another example is physical and emotional craving. So a lot of my clients will crave sugar because there's a lack of sweetness and a lack of joy in life. So you may crave salt because you are lacking minerals, high stress. And if you're really energetically, spiritually sensitive and emotionally sensitive, you need more electrolytes and more gray and pink salt to help ground you with all the collective madness going on in the world right now. But how do you give yourself that if you don't know that's what's going on, right? So I love doing the podcast because education is everything. So just to give you some connections of how this all ties back to hormone health. And I'm going to dive into this tenfold in hormone harmony. And of course, I do that in private coaching too. So taking steps to address hormone imbalances, what do you do? Ideally, and you may have already done this and it's fine if you did because I did it too, I do not encourage you to go on Google and self-diagnose based off of symptoms you're having and then just go and buy some herbs and supplements. Because as you've heard me say, if you've been listening to the podcast, certain supplements can help with certain imbalances, but hurt others. So an example would be, say you have underactive thyroid, but your estrogen's also high. Certain supplements that you would take to bring your estrogen down could inhibit your thyroid function if you're not careful. Same with certain foods. Say you have high cortisol, but your estrogen's also high. Maca can be great for reducing cortisol, but maca increases estrogen. So now you're boosting your estrogen dominance even worse. And then you're wondering why you're all warm and puffy and you can't lose weight and your boobs are so tender like weeks and days before your cycle. I learned all that the hard way because I did those things. Trust me. I swear, everything I talk about, I went through myself before I figured it out. So I get what you're going through and I know you just want the answers, but I encourage you to just not do that. Get support. Testing is available, right? But that's just one part. Ideally, we want to look at the emotions. We want to address emotional eating, binging, and purging. We want to deal with the people pleasing. We want to help you learn how to protect your energy if you're an empath and you take on other people's stuff, because that triggers emotional eating and that will fuel hormone imbalances if you're stressed to the nines all the time because you feel like you're carrying around everyone else's stuff, right? So all of that is available in private coaching and we will be addressing it in Hormone Harmony. If you're wanting to reach out here, maybe there's someone else you want to reach out to, but I do encourage you to make sure you're addressing the emotional, the mindset, behaviors, the relationship with food, body image, all of that, because you'll only get so far off of testing and supplements alone. It is a valuable part, but it's one part of a big puzzle. And we need to be willing to take time to do self-care. I'm going to be introducing some really great self-care tools in Hormone Harmony too, which I also do in one-on-one. So reach out to someone who will review the results with you and who's not going to just tell you everything's normal. So if you see your doctor or you see someone and they're like, everything's normal and your gut's like, I don't know, get a second opinion. Definitely get a second opinion. Do not take no for an answer or, oh, it must all be in your head. Don't take that for an answer if you're getting that gut feeling that's like, no, it's definitely not all in my head. We want to look at your symptoms. We want to connect them to what's going on in the blood work. And if someone just like Breezer is like, yeah, you have adrenal fatigue, take this stuff, and they didn't take the time to explain what was going on and why, that's also not good enough because, I mean, for me anyway, and a lot of the women I work with, they want to know what's going on. And I want to explain to them the connections because it's liberating and empowering to be educated. And when you understand your body and you make the lifestyle changes, you're making change for life. So it's very powerful. So get support with emotional eating, get support to address the people pleasing and the negative self-talk and the ego, because the ego having control over you is one of the biggest reasons you have hormone imbalances, because the ego thrives off of your suffering. The ego wants you to keep overbooking your schedule. The ego wants you to keep emotionally eating and say like, whatever, I deserve this, like screw it, what's one more night? I'll try to be more mindful tomorrow, because that what's one more night of this doesn't have a big impact, turns into 2 nights, turns into a week, a month, a year, and then you gain 20, 30, 50, 100 pounds. And then you're so distraught and upset with yourself because you let your ego call the shots, and you're tolerating your ego because you're afraid of failure and you're afraid of really looking at it. But we need to address the ego. We need to address the ego, that negative voice, because ultimately, naturally, it's not supposed to be in power. We in our hearts are supposed to be in our power. And when we can learn about the ego and we can get support when our ego takes full-fledged control, and we can learn how to take our power back and what it feels like in the body when we've given our power away, and the drain and the negative emotions that come up, and then we can start to feel what it feels like to take our power back. It's powerful. It's so transformational. It is a game changer. Learning about my ego and learning to master it in the last 11 years. And yes, it still comes up sometimes, but the level of conflict I prevented, the level of healing I've allowed to go more deeply with my body and my intuition and everything, because my ego is not loud anymore, is significant. Like my ego was ruining my life 10 or like 12, 13, 14 years ago, because I didn't know it was there and I didn't know how to manage my emotions or my stress. So like, yeah, things were pretty not fun with emotions and stress and things like that. So you got to shift that. Reach out and start asking people questions. Ask them the tests that they're going to do. Say like, hey, I hear the normal range like is too big. Like, what do you look at? Right? Start addressing emotional eating, building a self-care routine. Like I give you some of the same takeaways at the end of the podcast, because like they're the key parts. They're the key parts. And a lot of us are dancing around, really looking at it, taking the time, doing the self-care, exploring emotions, etc. So I really encourage you to pick something and start with it. And you take those first steps. Talk to somebody, ask questions, see what kind of testing is available, see what kind of suggestions they would have for you. And also work on the mindset, work on the emotional, not just physical, mental, emotional. And then I find the intuitive, energetic, spiritual parts of it come along with the rest as you start to shift on your journey and you start to set boundaries and say no. So that's what I have to suggest today. So if you are interested in Hormone Harmony and you want the early bird bonuses, email me at info@amberapproved.ca with the subject line Hormone Harmony, and then you save as well monetarily with it's a $15.55 USD, or the 2 payments of $8.88. After Feb 6th, the price goes up. So if you pay in full, once it's regular price, you save the most. It's $2,222. You can do pay to installments, which is 2 payments of $1,333 USD. Otherwise, the monthly payment plan is 5 payments of $555 USD. So paying in full saves you the most. However, there are other options available to support you with your budget. I want to try and accommodate as many people as I can. This program is honestly, I think it's new. I've not seen anything out there like it. And it's a freaking amazing value, like $1,555 USD. Like my private coaching for a 6-month program starts at like 4 times that. So, and you get access to me for 5 months and a round of testing. Like testing alone is usually about $400 to $500. So you're literally getting this program for $1,000. So it really doesn't get much better than that. So if you want to dive in and enroll and get one of those 10 spots, make sure that you don't wait too long, because I have a feeling they're not going to last. Had a lot of interest in this kind of a program. So email me info@amberapproved.ca if you have questions or you want to talk about the program and enroll. You can also click the banner at amberapproved.ca/podcast/324, and you can go and read the whole sales page and learn all the little details and enroll from there. Or I'm happy to connect for 10 to 15 minutes to talk to you about it. If you have any other questions or you want to do private coaching instead and go all in, you can book a 30-minute Body Freedom call. They're $50 off until the end of the month. Use code BODYFREEDOM, all caps. You can also DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to have a conversation with you there via voice message and answer your questions. Be sure to go to amberapproved.ca and take the emotional eating quiz, learn more about body freedom. And as I always say, there's no better time than the present to take action on your health. So take action now. Have a beautiful day, a great week. And I'm so excited to see who comes and joins Hormone Harmony and reaches out, because we're going to have such a very powerful time together. Sending so much love and light. And I will look forward to sharing a whole new episode with all of you next Sunday. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe, review, and rate this podcast and share it with your friends. You can find me at amberapproved.ca and follow me on Instagram and YouTube at Amber Romaniuk. Join me next Sunday for another brand new episode and another step toward body freedom.